next we have Taff Roberts, so I assume we're going to hear A Child's Christmas in Wales. Let's see. His card says, to cremate is to dispose of a dead person's body by burning it to ashes. This story took place in the Yukon during the Great Gold Rush in the 1890s. So, Child's Christmas somewhere else. Here is Taff Roberts.
There are strange things done in the midnight sun by the men who moil for gold. The Arctic trails are secret tales that make your blood run cold. The northern lights have seen queer sights, but the queerest they ever did see was the night on the marge of Lake Labarge that I cremated Sam McGee. Now Sam McGee was from Tennessee, where the cotton blooms and blows. Why he left his home in the south to roam, God only knows. He was always cold, but that land of gold used to hold him like a spell. And he'd often say, in his homely way, he'd rather live in hell. On Christmas Day, we were mushing away over the Dawson Trail. Talk about your cold through the Packers fold, it stabbed like a driven nail. If your eyes you closed, your lashes froze, and sometimes you couldn't see. It wasn't much fun, but the only one to whimper was Sam McGee. And that very night, as we lay packed tight in our ropes beneath the snow, the dogs were fed, the stars overhead were reeling heel and toe. And he turned to me and Cap, he said, I guess I'll cash in this trip. And if I do, I'm asking you not to refuse my last request. Well, he seemed so low I couldn't say no. And he said in a kind of moan, it's the cursed cold, and it's got right cold, and it's got me right to the bone. It ain't been dead, this my cursed dread of that icy graves that fails. And I want you to promise, false or true, that you'll cremate my last remains. Now a pal's last need is a thing to heed, and I swear I would not fail. And on we went at the day of break, and by God he looked awful pale. He was crouched on a sleigh, and he raved all day about his home in Tennessee. And by nightfall, the corpse, that was all that was left of Sam McGee. There wasn't a breath in that land of death, as I hurried, horror-driven, with a corpse half hid that I couldn't get rid because of a promise given. It seems to say you may tax your brawns and brains, but your promise true. And it's up to you to cremate my last remains. Now a promise made is a debt unpaid, and I swear I would not fail. And on I went at the break of day, to swear I would not fail. Now a promise made is a debt unpaid, I swear I would not fail. And on I went, in the days to come, though my lips were numb, oh God, how I cursed that load. In the long, long light, around the campfire light, the huskies round in a ring, howled out dead ooze to the homeless snows. Oh God, how I hated that thing. And every day that quiet clay seemed to heavier and heavier grow. And on I went till the dogs were spent and the grub was getting low. I felt half mad, the trail was bad, but I swore I would not give in. I often sang to the heartfelt thing, and it hearkened with a grin. Till I came to the marge of Lake Labarge, and a derelict there did lay. It was jammed in the ice, and I saw in a thrice, it was called the Alice May. And I looked at it, and I thought a bit, and I looked at my frozen John. And here, said I, with a sudden cry, is my crematorium. Some planks I tore from the cabin floor and lit the boiler fire. I found some coal lying around and lit the furnace higher. The flames just soared the furnace roared, such a blaze you seldom see. I burrowed a hole in the glowing coal, and I stuffed in Sam McGee. I took a hike, for I did not like to hear him sizzle so. The heavens scowled, the huskies howled, and the wind began to blow. It was icy cold, and the hot sweat rolled down my cheeks, and I do not know why. The greasy smoke, like an inky cloak, came streaking down the sky. I do not know how long in the snow I wrestled with grisly fear. The stars came out and danced about, and here I ventured near. I was sick with dread, and I bravely said, I guess I'll just take a look inside. I guess it's cooked, and it's time I looked, and the door I opened wide. And there sat Sam looking cool and calm, amidst the heart of the furnace roar. He wore a smile, you could see a mile. Then he said, please close that door. It's warm in here, but I greatly fear you let in the ice and snow. Since I left Plumtree in Tennessee, it's the first time I've been warm. There are strange things done. There's great things done in the midnight sun by the men who moil for gold. The Arctic Trail has a secret tale that make your blood run cold. The Northern Lights have seen queer sights, but the queerest they ever did see was that night on the marge of Lake Labarge that I cremated Sam